Hello, everybody.
I am Nora Beasley, the Westside Digital Learning Coach for Montgomery County Schools, and with me today is also
Susie Reed. I'm the Eastside Digital Learning Coach, and we want to share something really important with you.
On the Triple E framework. Our county has decided to use the Triple E framework to guide our digital instruction.
We still use SAMR, but now we're really focusing on this Triple E, and anything you want to learn, you can find from these links right here.
As you're going through this presentation, we know that we can't be together, unfortunately, but we would like for you to have two different tabs open. On one tab, we, of course, would like to have our presentation in the present mode, and then have another tab open up so that you can do the different interactive elements throughout the presentation.
So the one will be the video, and then the Google slide, if you interact with that in present mode, it'll be easier for you to do all the activities.
And also remember that you can always pause this video as we're going through.
Yes.
The first interactive element that we would like for you to do is on the very next slide, and it says, how much do you already know about the Triple E framework? We're just trying to do a temperature check for our participants and see what you already know. Have you ever even heard about it? Do you know anything about it, or you know quite a bit about it? Please let us know at this time. So if you'll pause the video and go click the vote button.
So you're saying, why do I even need to know about Triple E? Well, we really like Triple E because it's a more modern, newer technology, and it's backed by research, and it focuses directly on how technology helps students achieve their learning goals.
And I also like, and you'll see this as you're going along, the terminology of Triple E is very easy to understand. There's 3 words that you have to know, and it just makes it easier for parents, teachers, and students to understand the technology, and even admin.
So we like this little graphic over here, and you can see the intersection of our engagement, enhancement, and extension. And if you go to the Google Slides, there are lots of links where you can dig in even deeper than we have time in this presentation.
And of course, we're not throwing away SAMR and TPAC and any of those other models. They are great models. We're only using Triple E in our county to evaluate technology. Those models of SAMR and TPAC and the other technology models are still wonderful models to help you pick the appropriate tool for digital learning.
So we would like for you to pause this video and watch an 11-minute video that is straight from Liz Kolp, who developed the Triple E framework. We think that there's no better way to learn it than straight from her mouth. And so we will be back with you after you watch this video by Liz Kolp on your Google slide presentation.
Well, we hope that you enjoyed the video. And what we mentioned before, our county has adopted Triple E, and so it's kind of out with the old and in with the new. Now, like I said, we're not completely getting away from SAMR. This is just how we've decided to do and put on our in-person walkthrough tool, and that's something that we want to share with you now.
So we have 2 questions. One focuses on the lesson planning. And we asked, does the planned technology provide opportunities for students to engage in learning, enhance the learning, extend the learning, or is there non-aligned technology or no observed technology? And the second question is instructional.
The second question, does the observed technology provide opportunities for the student to, those exact same things, those 3 Triple E's, engage in learning, enhance in learning, extend the learning, or does it not align at all? And is technology not observed? These are just great questions, 2 questions focusing on what was going on with the planning and then the actual instructions. These are the 2 questions that our county has chosen to implement with Triple E.
And here's just a snapshot of part of our classroom walkthrough tool.
We really like this diagram of Triple E. It puts everything that Triple E has to do with each of the 3 things, and it puts the 3 questions that go along with each if you're having a hard time deciding which level it's going to be at. It all has it all in this very same graphic, and I love this graphic. It may be something that you want to put on the back of your walkthrough form. It's a great graphic just to keep up with Triple E.
And we will be coming back to those instructional strategies. If you notice, they're at the center. So we're still first going to talk about the 3 E's, and then we'll come to those instructional strategies. So the first level is engaged learning. And we want to know if the students are really engaged. This focus is on the tool and how it hopefully helps the students get a more sophisticated understanding of the content. Does it motivate them to start the learning process? And does it cause a shift in their behavior from that passive learner to being active?
And of course, are they engaged? Do they actually encourage them to be actively involved? We're talking about time on task. Are they using the tool rather than isolating the tool as learning? And then we've talked about this many times, making sure the tool is appropriate for the learning activity, instead of just finding a tool that I like and saying, oh, we're going to use that tool. Again, in the pink bar, you will see those 3 questions, those 3 guiding questions. If you're wondering, is this engaged learning, then you would ask yourself those questions.
And again, if you go to the Google slide presentation, you can dig deeper with the links there. And there is a focus on kids working together here and not just alone in isolation. And then our second level is, does it enhance the learning? Is it somehow scaffolding that learning that you couldn't do in traditional methods that you need the tool for? And does it help the students get a more sophisticated understanding of the content? And is it just that you couldn't do this and create these learning paths with the traditional tools?
And if you think about that, that sounds a lot like the end part of SAMR. So like I said, those are not things that we're throwing away by any means. And of course, enhancing. Does the tool add something? Does it assist? Does it scaffold? All those key words, and you'll notice that in the graphic over to the left, the yellow, it actually has those words highlighted so that whenever you're going into a classroom or you're evaluating your own learning or your own classroom, does it create a scaffold? Does it do these things? And does it do something that a traditional tool could not do? Much like we talked about before with SAMR.
And then finally, are we extending the learning? We want to make sure that we're going outside of the class. Does it help those students out in the real world? Here comes that 21st century. Now we're 22nd century learning. Are we creating that bridge between the school and the everyday learning and everyday skills?
Here comes these graphics that we love, of course, over here in blue. It says, does it aid and enhance the ability to create a real-world connection? Of course, that's what we're trying to do in school, is to create those real-world connections, because we are trying to get our students ready for everyday life. And of course, if you'll see on the graphic, it has those exact words, and they're even in bold so that when you're going along, you can see and make sure you're marking the appropriate level. All right, here's your chance to talk. We would love for you to pause our video at this time, and we would like for you to click up here on the Google presentation, and we would like for you to answer these 3 questions, please. Take your time right now and answer those 3 questions by clicking here, and then come back to us soon.
I hope you took a chance to read over the responses of other people and maybe even respond to what they had to say. Now we're going to get into some practical uses and how you can actually use it and not just talk about, esoterically kind of talk about it like it's just some model that's out there. So here is a really neat rubric for lesson design. I really encourage you, I'm going to share it now, but I encourage you to go to your Google slide presentation and take a look at this. This is directly on their website for Triple E from the University of Michigan, and you can go right here and fill in and answer it right on their page when you're looking at planning a lesson. and then you will get the actual results and can see them. You could also adapt this for your own tool, but you'll then see, if you've evaluated a lesson, you then see the results, and they're in different colors. That yellow is kind of hard to see, but it tells you where it falls within the Triple E framework. And the next slide, actually, of our presentation is that very rubric, how to read the rubric results.
These are also some other very valuable tools, and especially if you're coaching, if you are an administrator or you're an instructional facilitator, these might be some different walkthrough ideas for you to use whenever you're evaluating a teacher's lesson. Teachers are evaluating each other's lessons. Teachers are, evaluating throughout your school, just to give them an idea. It's a printable document. It's a PDF that you can use. You don't have to recreate the wheel. These are items that you can already use.
So whether you're the teacher, the coach, administrator, whatever, this Triple E website in particular has tools for everybody. And we're not going through all these, but just know if you are clicking in our Google slide presentation, you have access to all of that. So here we get to the best practices, which we were talking about. Here are some, and I don't want to say down and dirty examples, but your practical tools of how to reach engagement, enhancement, and extension.
And I love the way the top of it says, do these sound familiar? I was looking right here. It says, I do, we do, you do. We've been saying these things for years. These are all great, just regular, everyday teaching practices. And it tells you where they fall in the Triple E framework. So if you go into a room and you see them doing pen pals, and you know that's automatically an extension, it's a great list just to keep up with it so that you can kind of see where things fall within the framework.
And I'm going to point out another great website for you to go to in your own time, and it's this Learner Variability Navigator. And here's the link, and on your own time, check that out. It is phenomenal, especially for people who need to really look at how they're differentiating instruction.
And, of course, everybody has this great question. Unfortunately, now we're in the COVID-19. Should we use Triple E framework for remote learning? Yes, you should. And below, there is a video. We don't have time in this particular presentation, but the creator of Triple E, of course, made a video. Yes, you should definitely use Triple E for remote learning, because we're still trying to do those great teaching practices of it extending and enhancing and engaging. We're still trying to do those things, even though our students are home and maybe learning remotely.
And that video, by the way, is an example of a simple lesson using Seesaw. It's not a great lesson, and not all of our lessons are going to be these knocked out of the ballpark lessons. But I think it's a very practical way to see how to make a lesson and how Triple E can fit into it and how we can evaluate it. So we're going to skip this too because we didn't watch the previous video. But if you at some point in time want to look at that video and respond to this discussion question, we would love to see your responses. And now we come to a few different examples, and we would like for you to go on your Google slide to example number 2. And we're going to play this video for you.
Yes, we want to focus on example 2. We thought it was the best out of those, and we just want to talk about it for just a minute with you.
And you are going to evaluate this lesson yourself using this rubric. So let's watch this video, and then you get to be the evaluator.
We're going to continue what we did yesterday with our research from our science class.
This is language arts. This is 7th grade right here. All right, this is the second lesson of a couple day long thing, and what they're doing right now is they are continuing research from a genetics project that we started yesterday. They're all collaborating in groups. Some of them are collaborating in a group of 2. Some people are working by themselves, which I let them pick. And what they're doing is they're deciding whether or not genetically enhanced foods are ethical or not. So they're conducting research, they're putting that in their writing projects, they're having to defend their position. And they're working with a partner. They can do anything individually if they want. Their final product is supposed to be an essay. It has to be a 4-paragraph essay. And what they're doing, the cool thing and the thing with technology that we're doing is they're using their iPads with an app called Google Drive. And what they're doing with that is they're able to collaborate in real time with each other. So one person can make edits, one person can be doing research. They can edit each other's work at the same time. They see the edits that are being done to their work. I can add a person to a group at any time if I think one person can work well with another group. I can display their work up on the screen. As you can see, I'm not sure if you can see on the board here, but towards the bottom, this group of young ladies right here is working on this one on the board, and I can see the edits that they're making towards the bottom. Okay, so the whole group, if I want to make an example of one group, say this is what we're doing correctly, they can all see. I could, if I wanted, have them show or AirPlay through the Apple TV that we have. They can display their work at any time. I think it's a great resource that we have here, and I think we're lucky as a school to be able to have the students take home their iPads and know that we're the only school doing that, which is pretty cool. So they can access it at home. One person can access what they're doing on here specifically. Even if they're not over each other's house, they can edit at home for homework as long as they have Wi-Fi.
All right, we hope you did take the time to watch that video. And of course, we're going to look at the next slide and talk about the rubric and how did this video stack up? How do you think it is? You know, you probably already have some ideas in your head. Of course, the tech tools that were used, they used the iPads, the internet, and they used the Google Drive.
And probably most of you are very, very familiar with Google Drive. So it wasn't like some new emerging technology that was used, which I think is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So if you did your own evaluation, did you get close to these results? For engagement, this was rated 5 out of 6 because they were very engaged. They're working together in pairs. They're editing together. And as it says here, Google Docs doesn't have a bunch of bells and whistles, but the students are able to keep their focus. They're not distracted by the fanciness or whatever of it.
And then with enhancement, of course, it was 4 out of 6. It said that it would have been more difficult for this assignment to be done without the internet. Of course, the Google Docs allows the collaboration and in real time. And then extension, we have 4 out of 6 because it was using authentic resources and authentic sites.
And the students are using tools that they're going to be able to continue using out in the real world, these online integrative tools. And who knows how they'll continue it.
I like how they could share it up on the board if it was something good. So
and the teacher can put his 2 cents in worth that way too. Yeah. So this is one way this rubric works with Triple E, and we just think it's very practical and easy to grasp, and not, it's just an easy concept to grasp. We're going to skip on through these, but there are others you can watch, and you can see the results that were provided for you.
Of course, there are lots of other applications, and throughout the end of this presentation, you're going to see lots of case studies. You're also going to see lots of resources that we have found. You may find your own, and we would love for you to share those with us as well. But these are just some different case studies that we have found.
There's on the Triple E website, I encourage you to go there. There's a blog. If you look over to the right, when you get to this website, there's all these links that you can click and go into and find lesson examples already. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. And the Triple E PLN is excellent. I encourage you to join that so that you can collaborate with other educators. I really like the lesson sharing.
And of course, we would like for you to just do an evaluation for us. If you'll just go to this Mentometer, if you'll pause the video right now and just take a minute to go do this and just let us know what you thought about this PD. And of course, if you have questions or any concerns that we can help you with, we would be more than happy to assist you. We, of course, do try to list our sources, any information throughout here. These are the different sources that we did use for this presentation. We just want to make sure you have those in case you want to go back and check something.
And it has been our pleasure to share this with you today because we've been excited about the changes going on in Montgomery County in using this Triple E network, Triple E framework. We've been a little bit challenged because of the distance. We're completely remote right now. We have been since the beginning of school, but we know this is going to change. And we just say if you have any questions, contact us.
Our email addresses are there. And also, we would love for you to subscribe and like our YouTube channel. We have a digital learning tips channel that we use for our parents and students and just anyone in general. If there's anything on there that you can use, please feel free to use those. We also are on Twitter. Our hashtag for our county is Imagine Montgomery County Schools in the 22nd Century. And we would be happy if you followed us on Twitter as well. If you need anything, please let us know.
Thank you. We look forward to hearing from you.